Hey everybody, well, welcome back. I'm glad to be back. It's Call Me Mr. Broadstreet again. Sorry for my absence, but I'm trying to get back on track with a few things, especially with the reviews here, so I hope everybody's doing well. Uh, and I meant to get to this album last week, of course, since it just celebrated a 50th anniversary as of September 9th, 1971. Of course, the album I'm speaking of in today's review is Imagine. This is the Capitol version, released in 1991 on CD. Now, talking just about the album itself, I haven't even gotten to the box set yet, although I do own it. That would have to be a much deeper dive for another time. So before I continue, if you enjoy the videos and enjoy the reviews, again, just please remember to give a thumbs up and go ahead and put any comments, of course, and like and subscribe. I always appreciate it. I appreciate every new subscriber and all you current subscribers. I hope to continue to build. So again, just wanted to go into the album. So here we go. I'm going to go from some notes. As I really listen to it tonight, right away I'm going to put this as an essential album. It's an essential album of John's career. It's one of the top solo Beatles albums. I really can't find too much at fault with it. And even the weakest track is still a really good track. So, again, this is just my re listening. I've owned the album probably since about the early 90s when it came out, as I was kind of really getting into my Beatles fandom after seeing Paul McCartney in concert in 1990. In the subsequent years of 1991, 1992, really started collecting a lot of stuff in addition to my dad's collection, which I've, inherited, borrowed, as in taken. But I don't think he minds too much. Anyways, so with the Imagine LP, now in the US and the UK, it went to number one. The album did. The single itself only went to number three. It was not a number one single within John's lifetime. There's only one song in the United States, at least, that was a number one single in John's lifetime. I'll get to that. I think I may have even mentioned it in one of my previous reviews for the John Lennon box set, but I'll get to it when the album comes. So little teaser there for the upcoming review that I will be doing. Imagine as a song. I mean, what's there to say? It's an iconic song. Now, personally, it may not be my go-to song as such. Again, there's probably a lot more songs I gravitate towards. It is an international anthem. It's been covered so many times at this point. The most recent example I can think of is the 2020 Tokyo Olympics held in 2021 due to the obvious COVID pandemic that's been going on and continues to go on. Sung by a whole bunch of different artists. So it's one of those anthems. It's one of those anthems I think maybe someday we can actually live up to the lyrics of the song. Really, being kind towards one another, I think, is the message I get from it. Imagine no possessions, it's easy if you try. I think it just means, imagine no fighting over anything. Imagine pulling everything together. That's the way I've always taken it, to mean. Again, I know some folks have had some problems with some of the imagine no religion connotations, but I don't. I don't think it's an anti-religious song, and I don't think John thought of it that way either. From any reviews or not reviews, excuse me, any interviews that I'm remembering, at least off the top of my head. I'd have to look through, but I'm pretty sure that was not the meaning of the song. So again, just imagining a better world. Can we get there? That's an age-old question, remains to be seen, and I'm just a simple reviewer. So moving on. Second song, Crippled Inside. Almost a countryish tune to it, almost a countryish feel. You can't hide when you're crippled inside. There's some nice slide work to the song. Again, that's almost the feel I get from the song from re-listening to it. I hadn't really heard it in a while. It leads into the third song, Jealous Guy. This is a great ballad. One of the lyrics, I was dreaming of the past and my heart was beating fast. A very confessional song. Very definite wall of sound. This was produced by Phil Spector. Lots of violins on this particular track as well. So you have folks like Phil Spector, you've got Klaus Vormann on bass guitar on a lot of the tracks of the album. You got George Harrison doing slide guitar. You got Ringo on the album. So, at certain points, you've got, I don't think all three appeared on the album. It, excuse me. Not that they didn't appear on the album, that they appeared on a track at the same time. I'd have to really go back and research it, and I'll probably do that with the Lennon box set. But needless to say, a lot of good pros on this album, a lot of good musicians on this album. So, you'd expect that matched with really great songwriting. It's So Hard, the fourth song, very bluesy saxophone, almost kind of predates SNL by a couple years, is my take on it. I think it could have been on the White Album or Abbey Road. That's kind of my take on it. Possibly the weakest song, but even then, it's an enjoyable song. So, I mean, if this is the weakest song, look, you've got an A-plus album, right? You've got an essential album, in my opinion. If I could compare this to Wildlife, the most previous album I reviewed, it's like night and day. You've got, in my view, that album was Paul's weakest effort. This is one of John's strongest efforts. I wouldn't quite say the top album in my opinion, but I am going to say essential again. Add it to your collection. Essential. All the way. 100%. Fifth track, I Don't Want to Be a Soldier. Very anti-war. It's a lot of what was going on at the time, the Vietnam War, early 70s. I Don't Want to Die. Well, none of us does. Great piano and slide guitar in this song. A very great wailing sax solo near the end. It just goes off the charts. It's like a jam. It's like a great jam, in my opinion. I've never been much of a jam band person myself, but this is like a really great jam you kind of don't want to end, even though it does. But really, really great track, in my opinion. Leads us into the sixth track, Give Me Some Truth. All I Want Is the Truth. Railing against hypocrisy. May sound familiar to some. I'll leave it at that. Amazing slide guitar. Now, George Harrison is definitely on this track, so just some blistering slide guitar on this track. I mean, John's definitely pissed off about quite a few things, so all I want is the truth, just give me some truth. I think we've all kind of felt that at one point or another in our lives. So then we go into track number 7, Oh My Love. It's a very nice ballad. I think this is an Abbey Road quality track. I think this could have actually gone on there as a second, maybe not a second, but as an additional John Lennon song. You wanted to resequence the album in an alternate universe. My eyes were wide open. Just a great lyric. Very, very nice ballad. Again, very, very nice song, really. How Do You Sleep? Well, okay, this is a very famous track in hardcore circles of solo Beatles fandom, and I think even a lot of the casual fans, you out there, probably know the story behind the song. So yeah, it's about Paul. There was there was a rift that they had, especially during the early 70s with all the lawsuits flying and everything. They kind of mended ways by the mid 70s. I'll go into that when I do the album review for Walls and Bridges at some point. So kind of by 1974, 75, things were kind of cooling down as it were, but it had to take some court cases and a lot of pain to go through it, between all the ex-Beatles, really. Now, John would later use the same melody as in the song Steel and Glass from that album I mentioned, about Alan Klein, so from that 1974 album, Walls and Bridges. So he kind of revisited it, but instead of, going after Paul, he'd be going after Alan Klein on that next track. This is a very cutting track. One of the lyrics, the sound you make is music to my ears. A little bit of background behind this. So apparently Paul had may have sung some things on Ram that John wasn't really too thrilled about and thought were digs at both him and Yoko. And apparently John's attitude at the time was, hey, don't tiptoe around it. Go straight for it. Yeah, he's going after Paul, but you know what? This is an enjoyable song. I can't deny it. This is actually a really blistering, great track. You can almost insert anything or anyone about it, but it's just a really great track, in my opinion. Very to the point, rocking track. The ninth track, so we're kind of near, the end of the album, is How, question mark. So how can I go forward when I don't know which way I'm facing? Really good lyric. Again, something we've all universally felt at one point or another. It's amazing the contradiction between this track and the previous track. Just a very How Do You Sleep is a very blistering track, and How it's a very uncertain track. I don't know which way to go. Life can be long and you've got to be so strong. So I think just a track about perseverance, about, okay, things are tough, but you keep going, you keep fighting, you keep, doing it. But definitely, some uncertainty with that. And, so again, a nice track overall, makes you think, in my opinion. Final track, Oh Yoko. Well, it's like a mirror of Dear Yoko from 1980. Or maybe Dear Yoko from 1980 is a mirror of this song. Either way, it's about Yoko, John and Yoko together. You could fill in the blanks with that, dedicated to Yoko. Lyric, My love will turn you on. Not a lot more going on lyrically besides Oh Yoko, but when I call your name in the middle of the night, when I call your name in the middle of the dream, Oh Yoko. So, that's it's a nice track to end it with. But again, just overall, this is an essential album. Again, I would recommend it to anybody if you're going to add it to your collection, whether it's physical media, streaming, purchasing online. Highly recommended, very essential, very much a high watermark in John's career. So that kind of wraps up the review for Imagine. And again, my apologies. I do want to get back on track with my reviews, of course. Hopefully there's a couple nice little surprises coming up during the week. Hopefully a couple of nice little reviews I'd like to do in between until the next main review, which, again, I'm aiming for Saturdays for once per week. So what I would like to review next time is Dark Horse by George Harrison. That's his 1974 album. But in between, I'd like to sprinkle a couple little surprises, sort of a thank you for listening, and just a little bit of a sorry I've been away so long. I hope everybody's doing well. Please keep safe, keep positive. Again, if you enjoy these videos, again, just hit the like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Let folks know about this channel, and we'll keep exploring the entire collection together. Until then, have a great night.